If you're running a modern manufacturing operation, you know that complexity isn't really a challenge. It's just the reality of it.
It's the fundamental operating principle, yeah.
You're managing these hyperfluid supply chains, juggling sales, production, finance. It feels like running five separate companies at once.
Right.
So the big question for leaders is how do you actually unify all of that into one cohesive, responsive operation?
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive into the Exxon and Cloud ERP system. Our mission here isn't just to, list off features.
No, not at all.
We're breaking down its foundational components, the core modules, and really analyzing how their integration translates into tangible, measurable benefits for manufacturers.
And when we define ERP, based on our source material, we have to be clear. This is a product designed to completely revolutionize how a business works.
It's more than just record keeping.
Way beyond that. The whole goal is the complete integration of every essential function. We're talking inventory, HR, finance, CRM, everything into one single system.
And that's what streamlines operations. It is, and that's what enhances efficiency. For manufacturers, that unification has to deliver very specific results.
Okay, so what are we focusing on?
I think we need to focus on how Exxon delivers on three key outcomes. First, crucial cost reduction.
Always number one.
Second, absolutely necessary real-time visibility across the whole supply chain. And third, the foundation for everything else, integrated information.
To get those benefits, though, we have to understand the machinery itself. So let's jump into section one, the backbone of your business. Manufacturing companies get the idea of modules, but where does Exxon really add the leverage?
The leverage comes from how cleanly and how immediately the data moves between these modules. Let's start at the very beginning of the flow, sales, and distribution, S&D.
Okay, so S&D is where the demand gets captured. But with an ERP system, isn't the biggest challenge there making sure the data is good from the start, not just processing an order?
Precisely. You've hit the nail on the head. Our audience knows that S&D manages customer databases, quotes, order processing, all of that.
Standard stuff.
Right. But what makes Exxon so critical here is its role as the data validator. It ensures that every sales transaction, every product detail is normalized at the point of entry.
So you get clean data from the get-go.
Exactly. And that standardized data is the foundation the rest of the ERP consumes.
Right.
It's what allows for accurate demand signals and predictive forecasting later on.
Okay, so if S&D is managing what goes out, the next logical piece is managing what comes in. Let's look at procurement. This is always seen as the low-hanging fruit for efficiency gains.
It is.
So how does Exxon push the envelope on automation here?
Well, the procurement module is designed to transform the entire purchasing lifecycle. It's not just about generating a purchase order.
Right.
We're talking about genuine automation and identifying potential suppliers, and this is critical, handling the negotiation of prices.
So the system itself is negotiating.
In a sense, it can automatically compare historical data, check multiple supplier quotes at the same time, and flag the optimal purchasing route without any manual intervention.
So we're not just automating an email, we're automating the actual analytical work required to get the best deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that drives down operational costs immediately. It just minimizes the time your procurement team spends on transactional stuff.
And once those materials are ordered, you need instant oversight.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to the third core module, right? Inventory control.
Yes, exactly.
Inventory control is so much more than just counting boxes on a shelf now.
Oh, yeah. It's about movement, velocity, cost of capital, all of it.
So it's the difference between simple tracking and true optimization.
That's it. Exxon's inventory control manages all the stock, sure, but the key is the continuous real-time tracking of stock levels and monitoring every single movement.
And for a manufacturer, that data isn't just a historical record.
No, it's live. It feeds directly into sophisticated algorithms that optimize those inventory levels. It prevents capital from being tied up in overstocking.
While also making sure you don't have a stock out that shuts down the production line. So, sales sets the demand, procurement handles the input, and inventory ensures the optimal flow. Now, I know Exxon has other key parts like production planning and quality control. How tightly are they linked to these core three?
They're inseparable. Production planning, for example, it can't optimize a schedule efficiently unless it's getting low latency, real-time data from inventory control.
A delay of even a couple of hours could throw everything off.
It could. If there's a delay in realizing a component arrived, the whole production schedule can fall out of sync. Exxon's design makes sure the production planning integrates scheduling directly with those clean demand signals from S&D and that accurate inventory data. That's what creates this self-regulating loop.
Okay, we've established the components are robust on their own. Here's where it gets really interesting, where the analysis deepens. How does this forced integration actually translate into those core business advantages? Let's move to section 2, the integrated advantage.
What's fascinating here is just the sheer power of having unified data. We defined integrated information as a primary benefit because it's a multiplier,
Right. If it was an old traditional system, you'd be exporting data, reformatting it.
creating friction, creating opportunities for error. It's a nightmare.
And that latency is just deadly, especially when you're dealing with complex bills of material or a market that changes on a dime. So walk me through the data flow. How does it provide that unified view?
Okay, think about the life cycle. The demand tracking that starts in S&D and the cost data from procurement, specifically from the purchase orders. They don't just stop there. They feed instantly into the financial accounting module, and they continuously update inventory control. This seamless flow is what gives decision makers what the sources call a complete overview of the financial status of the industry at any given moment.
A single source of truth for the entire company.
Exactly. It completely eliminates those departmental silos where finance has one set of numbers and operations has another.
And that foundation is the only way you can do accurate forecast.
The only way. You know exactly what's inbound, what the real cost is, and what the immediate demand for your final product looks like.
When you take out that friction, you remove the guesswork. And that naturally leads to the second major benefit, cost reduction.
It does.
But this has to be more than just cutting labor costs, right?
It absolutely is. I mean, yes, the automation in procurement vetting suppliers, negotiating orders that reduces manual effort, but the massive cost savings, they often come from inventory control.
Because you're not tying up capital in a warehouse.
Exactly. Holding excess inventory is expensive, it's risky, and it hammers your cash flow. Smart inventory management is basically instant cash flow improvement.
And we see that in the sources.
We do. There's a testimonial from Abhishek Kumar that confirms the Exxon solution streamlined our processes and significantly reduced our operational costs. That's a powerful bottom-line benefit that comes directly from the system.
Which leads right into the third benefit, real-time visibility. If integration is sharing data accurately, visibility is about accessing it instantly.
Yes. And this is where inventory controls continuous tracking is just so vital. For a manufacturer, having that immediate, accurate insight into stock levels, purchasing status, sales velocity, it's critical.
You can react to things instantly. A supply chain disruption, a spike in demand.
You're not waiting for an end-of-day report to figure out what's happening on the shop floor.
So if I can see that my main supplier is delayed, I can immediately pivot to an alternative that the procurement module has already flagged, and I don't lose a day of production.
That speed, that's the competitive edge.
Yeah.
Sarvesh Gupta put it perfectly in his testimonial. He said, "The visibility and control we have gained over our supply chain is phenomenal. Real-time data access has improved our decision-making process immensely."
Actionable data, not just historical summaries.
That's the key.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's transition into section 3, application and manufacturing verticals. We know Exxon is an ERP, but the sources really emphasize that it's designed to be uniquely tailored.
Right. The core engine S&D, procurement, inventory, that's the foundation. But the processes you layer on top have to adapt. Exxon shows a huge amount of versatility. We're talking automotive, electronics, textile, chemical, food and beverage, metal fabrication.
Medical equipment, too, a huge range.
A very wide range.
That suggests a lot of flexibility in how it's configured. So let's take two contrasting examples to see how it works. What about for food and beverage manufacturing? What's critical there?
Okay, so food and beverage is all about speed, efficiency, and maybe most importantly, regulatory compliance.
Of course.
So the Exxon solution is tailored there to handle really stringent quality control, complex inventory rules like FIFO, first in, first out for perishable goods.
And traceability has to be perfect.
Absolutely. The system has to provide robust, real-time batch and lot traceability. If there's a quality issue, you need to instantly trace every single ingredient back to its source and forward to every customer.
High stakes. So let's contrast that with machinery manufacturing.
Yeah.
Very different needs.
Very different. Machinery manufacturing often means long production cycles, incredibly complex bills of materials, and sourcing unique parts from all over the world.
So long lead times are the enemy.
They are. So for them, the Exxon solution is tailored to streamline those complex workflows and really optimize the supply chain to handle those lead times. Real-time data there means minimizing the financial risk of a delayed, high-cost part.
And giving customers a delivery date you can actually trust.
Exactly. So the core functionality is the same, but the system flexes to meet those specific compliance and lead time needs.
Okay, so given this capability, let's talk about the provider. XON Cybernetics PVT Ltd. What's their credibility?
Well, credibility in the ERP world is built on experience. The sources highlight that the company has collective experience dating back to 2002. So that's 2 decades of domain knowledge.
That kind of longevity suggests they really understand manufacturing.
It does. And they highlight 5 key differentiators that really speak to modern pain points. First is the industry-specific solution we just talked about. Second, customization and flexibility. The system has to bend to the business, not the other way around.
Sure.
Third is rapid implementation, which is vital for getting a quick ROI. Fourth, cloud-based and mobile accessibility, which is non-negotiable now. And finally, the capability for advanced analytics and reporting.
Which takes the ERP from just being an operational tool.
And turns it into a strategic planning instrument.
Right. That whole portfolio makes a very clear case for immediate efficiency gains. So, what does this all mean? Our deep dive shows that the Exxon Cloud ERP gets its effectiveness not just from digitizing things, but from forcing that seamless real-time link between the core functions.
Right.
Sales determines the real demand, procurement optimizes the cost and timing, and inventory ensures everything flows perfectly. That integration is the ultimate prize.
And that capability is really designed for the future. The system is built for scalability, for innovation, for future-proofing. We know that optimizing inventory and purchasing drives immediate cost savings today. That's clear. But if we connect that to the long-term view, here's the question for you, the listener, to mull over. How does the ability to leverage all that instant, accurate, integrated data through advanced analytics fundamentally change the long-term competitive trajectory of a manufacturing business?
So not just operations, but R&D, market expansion.
Exactly. How does it change your strategy? That's the critical question.